This video is brought to you by Guitar Center Professional. Whether you're looking to upgrade your studio, your live event space, or your restaurant, or you're just a musician wanting to get some extra equipment, they are nationwide with professional pricing. Hit them up, their information is below. All right, we are here with Able Vallejo. Able is the drum tech for?
Pantera.
Is it just Pantera?
Pantera and Anthrax, actually.
Okay.
So I work for Charlie Benante, and so I basically go where he goes.
Nice.
But yeah, for the last 2 years, we've been doing Pantera.
Okay.
So.
What does it mean to be a drum tech?
So what we do is, obviously we load in, and I build the kit, as you can see, and get everything clean, tuned up, right where he needs it. And basically, you want to be on point no matter who the artist is, but you want them to be able to walk in and just sit down and not have to worry about this is too far, this is too low, so it's a matter of working together and reading each other's,
Yeah.
what they need.
It seems like
reading each other's needs, I guess, is what I mean. Yeah.
It seems like there's a natural trajectory for bands when bands get together, they jam together and they play and they start going on tour, and most of the time they're loading in their stuff. And one of the progressions is to get a drum tech that's going to really just set up and take care of everything. And then you've got into arena level like you guys are at.
Yeah, I consider that like a A-list level. Honestly, I didn't start at the bottom. When I started doing this 15 years ago, I went straight to Korn. And because the drummer, Ray Luzier, is a dear friend of mine, and he asked me to help him out. And I was a drummer, and I still am a drummer, but, I was in Hollywood and working 9 bands, playing every night of the week, and then so when that got offered, and they ended up getting offered the position, it was, my life just went upside down, but I took a shot and I'm like, why not? So I've been doing it. I did almost 10 years with them and then moved on to Seven Dust, Limp Bizkit, Faith No More, Anthrax, now this. That turned into Pantera, which I didn't see it coming, but it's amazing, the path that it's taken me. And I guess I do good work, I just tune the drums just like I do when I was a kid. It's like I tune the way I tune my own kit, and it works. So, everyone has their methods and ways of doing things, and that's just something I've stuck to, doing that by my ear, and so it's gotten me pretty good work,
Walk me through the kit. Tell me what you're using.
So we're using a Thomas Star Classic on this rig.
Okay.
It's a black chrome, and it's got kind of a gold hue to it, so it made it kind of interesting. It was some kind of finish they added to it, which I kind of like it. And we're using Evans drum heads. We were using G2s. We're using the Onyx on this run. We're trying them out on the toms, and so far it's been great. On the kicks, we're using EQ3s with a Danmar button and some moleskin right in there. And he likes the wood beaters that's also made by Danmar. All the hardware is Tama, and the rack system is Tama as well. And we're using Paiste cymbals, a plethora of them, as you can see. And Roland Electronics with triggers and a little trigger bar right there.
Yeah.
And we're also using this SPDX Pro for a few intros that I run, so I hit him instead, so he doesn't have to do it. So
you're hanging out here the whole show?
Yeah, I always kind of make an example of it being like the kid at Wimbledon to run and get the dead ball. Like you're just waiting and like a hunting dog. And that's something I've gotten better at. Obviously, when I started, I was green, but it was something that you got to pay attention to detail, body language, like things sound. Like I'll know when a cymbal cracks, or if it's going, or I know if he's fidgeting, there's something up.
Sure.
It's just it's really just being able to read the artist and anticipate what's might be coming next, or if the snare is kind of dipping on me, I'll be looking underneath him while he's playing, and sometimes I'll catch it when it's like ripping. So I already have a backup snare, and I'll just say next song.
Do you have two kits standing by? Do you like one of everything?
Yeah, I have a mirrored image of even the vaults, right down to the vaults.
Okay,
to
explain
the
what
kit.
a vault is.
So it's a drum vault. It's custom made. Normally, you have cases like this for drums singled out, but we created. We didn't start this method, but it's so much easier just to front load everything. Like all the drums go in as is. They don't flip. They don't. They don't get tossed around. Everything's on wheels. You pull the door off. I have half my rig right here: pedals, snares, toms, and then in the other one, I have the kick drums and a couple other toms, and I keep like headstock in here. So I could get through like 5-6 shows just with what I stock everything with, and the rest of it I leave on the semi. So,
do you find that easier than just having the set roll as is on a riser?
That's definitely a luxury. On this run, we just didn't have the truck space.
Sure, okay.
Because this is a 8 by 10 foot. So we were able to do it last year for the summer run, but I believe we had an extra semi that kind of helped that out. But on this one, and the way this is, a lot of these moving stages, you can't really ramp it up because it doesn't split down the middle. I'm used to having them split down the middle, but the way this was designed, it doesn't allow that. So if we were going to roll it on and off, it goes in one piece, and it's doable. It looks sketchy, but but it works. It works. But it's just not worth the hassle. Some of the docks might be different, so it might not come off the truck evenly. And if there's any obstructions coming out of the truck, I would have to take it all apart in the truck. So it's just easier just to build it every day. Yeah. I'm pretty fast about it, and the teardown's quick. I mean, I have it down. I have the way I do it. It basically goes up and goes back in reverse, so the way I do it all. So, like I put the cymbals on last, so that's the first thing I take off, or the cymbals, toms, rack, So I'm done in about 25 minutes, like packed up and pushed out. So, it's a good method. I mean, but yeah, if it rolled on the truck, it leaves you a lot more time to focus on other things. But, like I said, it's a luxury, so you can't have it that way all the time.
Can you walk me through your tuning process and how you do that?
I mean, it's a secret.
That's fine.
It's a family secret, but honestly, it's you got to have a good ear. Like my tuning method, and I'm just gonna zero this out. Honestly, that's a little slow. I'm gonna grab my drill. So I'll go backwards because this was already tuned up. I try to match the show snare with the backup, so you don't want two different sounds if something goes down.
Yeah.
So what I normally do is I just make sure that the rim is or the shell is even, because sometimes you have a bad edge, and it'll do that. But this one has a good flat surface, so I'll just get everything right to the edge. Right? Just to where it just stops, and I don't give it any pressure. So when I get all the way around it, I consider that to be almost zeroed out and even.
Star pattern, or does it matter?
I mean, you want to keep it even, because if you miss one, it's going to throw everything off. So I just kind of do that method. And on these heads, you can't really see the wrinkle, but I usually press my thumb and you see like a little ripple around the edges. And I try to make sure that like I have a wrinkle all the way around, because one side will be clean where it's like, all right, let me open that up, zero it out a little bit more. And when I put a thumb on it, I'm trying to mimic the strike of the stick, right? So When I do that, I just turn it till that wrinkle's gone. It's usually about a half turn on this type of head. And just come all the way around. So now, when I have the wrinkles gone, now I can just keep it, I could just do a half turn like that, and I just keep it the same all the way around it. And so as it's sucking the rim down, I might have to compensate a little bit ahead on certain lugs, but and then when I come around it, I'm looking for the right tone or an even tone. So everything's gonna be a little out. See that? So that's dipping, so I'll give it. Pitch going up, right?
Yeah.
Charlie likes them a little bit on the tight side because he gets a better bounce off the center. So once I have an even, I'll just take it again with the same turn all the way around, and it's basically gonna just bring it up every turn. If one of them's not playing right, I'll go directly across and tune it from the other side on this side, and it'll usually lift it. Like if it's out in my head, if the note's out or it's like fighting it or it's got some kind of hand to it, I'll I keep going back and forth. It's like, well, wait, I started going to the other side because these are connected, right? So.
That's cool. Yeah,
So that's when I got the snare off, right? And so it's probably could use another lift on it, but when I'm doing that, I want to come up and so it's pretty close. It's a little older head. I think that one's a little newer today, but for a backup, it's right in the zone, right?
How much does the bottom play into the snare sound?
A lot. I crank it. I keep it pretty cranked because in our mix, it gives it like this kind of a shotgun blast. The way it's mixed, he likes a lot of reverb on it, and I keep it pretty tight on the bottom. I haven't really worked on this one as much, but to get the strainer off, let me grab a stick. Actually, I'd go the other way. So if I'm feeling like, it's not really sounding right to me, so you could hear it out. And I keep these a little looser, these 4, because I don't want it too tight for the strainer. I want the strainer to at least kind of settle in it, but everything else, yeah, that was loose. And I can't go too tight because it'll choke it. But it does make a difference when you get it even. It brightens it up, gives it the body that you want without a lot of overtone. So, yeah, and his signature snare, it's a stainless steel snare. Honestly, it works for everything. We've used it in the studio on Anthrax stuff. When we had 5, 6 snares laying around, oh, try this one, and then we ended up going with his I think more on the last record that they just did than any other snare. There might have been a Black Beauty on there, but other than that, it's a Canon, and so that's kind of the gist of it. I like the tunings on everything else. He likes them a little tighter. The kicks are real tight. I almost said, I told him, made a joke. I was like, I'm gonna take those heads off the kicks and have some day laborers lay some brick right there because it's so fucking tight. But but he likes it the way it is, and I've grown accustomed to knowing what he needs sonically. Because normally, like with Korn and the other bands I work for, I tune almost as low as I can go for that low end, because it was a lot of, down tuning stuff.
Sure.
And but then going to Anthrax, it's not quite like that. So it was a different animal completely. And so I had to, kind of know what he likes, and he'll be like, it's not enough this or that. So now I got him dialed in to where I could hear it, and I know the blend, and and he walks in and he's like, and he doesn't really say much about it anymore, so it's cool, so I keep that method, that recipe down, and everybody's happy. So front of house is happy, Charlie's happy, the fans are happy. So
what do you think separates a good drum tech from a great drum tech?
Just experience, years. I'm still learning. I do things the way I do them, but I'm always open for to learn more stuff about it. Obviously, there's a whole electronic world that's massive. But the cool thing about both bands is that they're not running a click. It's straight up. And I really enjoy that because there's no backing tracks, there's no bullshit. It's just these guys show up, There might be a sample or two that's for an intro or an out, but other than that, what you hear is what you get with both of these bands. So that's impressive, because I've worked for bands that ran backing tracks, and it's cool, but everybody's got to be on, and if something goes down. Yeah. It's a train wreck, but
that is pretty rare for nowadays to be just going all natural.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are old school, so but I respect that, and I appreciate it too, because then you're getting the real shit. I mean, we are running a little bit of Vinny's original samples from the records through our triggers, but front of house will tell you it's like a 70-30, 70 being the live end of it, and then the samples just peppered in, to where it kind of just fills that up and it sounds like Vinny, so that kind of stuff, it's all a method to the madness. And I'm no audio guy, but I get it, I get it how it works. I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was 70-30, 30 being my tuning and 70 being that. But so it was good to know that, okay, I still have it. I still know what I'm doing. But fake it till you make it, I guess. But,
absolutely.
But yeah, no, it's a good gig. Honestly, I believe in myself as a A-list drum tech, and I learned from a lot of people I surrounded myself with are some of the best, and my friends too. And there's the old saying, if you want to become a winner, surround yourself with them. Yeah. And then so it's kind of that kind of deal, because I didn't know shit when I came into it. I just tuned the drums it was my own kit, and I ended up staying with Korn by doing that. So, and then working my ass off and learning and not sitting around. But yeah, I mean, you just have to bust ass and like I said, just be open-minded to learn from people that are better than you.
Sure.
And there's always gonna be someone better than you, but so far I got a pretty good, sweet gig, and just keep doing what I do and try to hang on to it.
Well, man, thank you so much for
taking
the time.
Appreciate
you, man.